Hello everyone, and welcome back to TCOB Productions. So recently I went and saw Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and so, for the benefit of my massive viewership, haha, I'm going to give my opinion. So, first of all, if you're someone who has read the book, and you're one of those people that simply cannot stand movies, adaptation movies, that don't cling fairly accurately to the books that they're based on, don't watch this movie. Because it takes a lot of, artistic license with the storyline. Now, to a certain extent, this is both to, well, as being an adaptation film, obviously departing from the book will be somewhat to detriment, but it's actually somewhat to its benefit as well. It's not like other movies, like, other adaptation movies, like, for example, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which kept sort of like major landmarks from the books, but connected them through sort of fairly weak implication, giving it a sort of a clunky feel. And it's not like, say, God help us, Aragon, which, well, it sort of collapsed under its own weight, or the lack thereof. The Lightning Thief, the movie, does indeed make a lot of changes from the book, but it does so with a certain confidence that lends a real fluidity to it. However, you know, still, it's departing a lot from the books. But, you know, enough about the books themselves. Let's talk about the movie. First of all, I would like to say that it was good, but nothing spectacular, and I think ultimately, you know, especially if you, like, go and see it twice, like I did, you'll realize that it's just kind of one of those movies that's just, it just is what it is. It's nothing spectacular. But it does have its own unique value. The second time around when I saw it, I went to a $3 theater with my friend of mine and my brother, and the theater was completely empty, and we sat through the entire movie basically riffing on the movie. And when you look at it from that perspective, some of the logic of the movie starts to break down. For example, and I'm not spoiling anything here, early on in the movie, Hades bursts out of a bonfire in this big sort of like Balrog-esque form, and we made several Balrog jokes throughout the movie. You shall not pass. But and then one of the other characters pulls out a sword. And I'm like, that's good. Stab the fire. That's a good idea. And also, I think we counted like 3 instances of really weak stonework, to the point where actually one of the characters literally crashes through like a foot thick of cement wall, which is just ridiculous. But it still is a good movie with these sort of illogical things about it, which makes it really, really fun to riff on, because you're able to enjoy watching the movie as a movie, but you're still able to point out these little things to make fun of it for. The plot is very simple. There's not a lot of sort of there's not a lot of complexities in it. There's a twist at the end, but again, it's nothing, you know, it's nothing super complicated either. The characterization overall from the books was, well, here and there. In certain cases it was fairly accurate, in other cases it was not, but that wasn't always that bad. Some of the acting, when you think about it, is kind of a little bit shoddy, but you know, the main characters were fairly good. The main character, Percy, he was kind of different than what I was expecting. He was a bit overly confident, and yet at the same time didn't have sort of the sense of humor that the Percy of the books did. And also, you'd think that, you know, like, and again, I'm gonna give away a small spoiler, they fight a Hydra in the movie, which is actually something not from the books, well, not from the first book, they battle a Hydra in the second book, The Sea of Monsters, and so I'm kind of inclined by that and a couple of other things, mostly the fact that they leave out major plot points, that they're probably not going to make a sequel. At least nothing that, if they did, they would have an enormous amount of catch-up work to do. But when they fight the Hydra, the first thing that he does is he chops off all the heads. Did this guy never watch the stinking Disney Hercules film to know that you shouldn't behead a Hydra? It's just, what else? The special effects were good, but you know, I after seeing Avatar, I don't really think that anything short of spectacular special effects will really ever be the same. And now, sort of, from this point on, kind of major spoiler alert, this is mostly either a forewarning for people who have read the books, not watched the movie, or those who have watched the movie, or a combination thereof. People like me, who have in fact read the books and watched the movie. A strange hybrid creature, indeed. So yeah, major spoiler alerts coming up. This is more sort of a discussion and analysis of the film. First of all, Medusa. Not a fan of it. I didn't have major problems with it, but I mean, according to the myths, the Gorgons don't paralyze with the eyes. They paralyze with the hideousness of their visage. And I mean, they didn't even do anything especially creepy with the eyes. Like, I expected them to be like reptilian and like, but no, just look at me. I have really bright blue eyes. Everyone in this movie has blue eyes, even the characters who aren't supposed to. Percy, very distinctly in the books, has sea green eyes. Annabeth has grey eyes. Everyone has blue eyes in this movie. All of them. And speaking of Annabeth, dear God. Okay. For those of you who have seen the movie, not watched the books, not read the books, just know that Annabeth is not accurate to the books at all. Yes, she's a good fighter, but she's not this super warlike person, though I will admit I did rather enjoy the scene at the Parthenon where she crossbowed everyone in the back, though that's still not really particularly in character for Annabeth. Still, I thought that was amusing. But first of all, she's described as being blonde in the books. And this is something I don't understand about adaptations in general. If they give such a very distinct description, like the fact that she has blonde hair, gray eyes, contacts, dye, you can do that so easily. But they don't. They don't, at all. And this is, I think, an indication of the fact that, you know, that they've really gone astray with this character, is when she first appears during the Capture the Flag match. And by the way, in the books, they're on the same team. In the movies, not so. I thought when she first comes out, you know, from wherever she comes out of, I thought she was Clarice, in all honesty, who is another character that they don't introduce in the movie. But, I mean, she seemed like someone masquerading very poorly as Annabeth rather than Annabeth herself.